Okay, so this is for the demo presentation. So far I've created the game. These are the assets here. Two scenes that I've created. I created a start menu scene and a main, I guess it's level one scene. This is some of the art that came with the assets that I downloaded from an old tutorial. It came with a bunch of stuff. I don't know. I haven't used it all. I basically just used kind of basic things, but the these assets did come from a tutorial. Unfortunately, the tutorial that came with these assets was extremely outdated. The script was for an old Unity program. I think it was, I can't even remember which Unity, but the script basically did not work on Unity 5 or whatever version I have here. And so I had to delete all the scripts. It didn't even come with any real instructions. It came with like a README, like it came with this documentation here, which just basically tells you what's inside already. So it was supposed to come like already made for you, but unfortunately, the the scripts that were provided to work for you were useless. It was just the syntax was old and it wasn't used anymore. So rather than go through each script and kind of look out and fix it, it was just easier just to scrap it all and start from fresh. So what I did was I used a more current tutorial that had its own assets, which was, let me see if I can find it real quick. It had its own assets, but I didn't like the assets that were provided with that one. So basically, I just used the tutorial instructions that came with that one, and I used these assets because I kind of liked the way that this one, the assets that these came up with. I think it was this one, and the assets that came with the tutorial that I actually followed was a lot simpler and it was easier to follow. But like I said, like yeah, see, like they just provided you with different colored blocks and like this paddle and the blue ball, and that was basically it. And so it was really simple. But the tutorial was good. The instructions were, or the script that they were using was fine. Um, with the demo, I don't know if we were supposed to incorporate a main menu, but this is one of the backgrounds that came with the assets on this page, which was Bricks Breaker and came with a play button. And I found a completely separate tutorial on creating a main menu because the tutorial that I followed to create the game didn't offer that. So I just completely found a separate tutorial on how to create the main menu and basically incorporated that script into this, and that's how I got the main menu. The other scene, how do I swap scenes here? Okay, there we go. This is the scene for the game. I've incorporated a score. It came with a prefab level one, so basically I just put the bricks together and that's basically it. But this is the paddle, the ball, and came with a default background. The scripts that are incorporated in this is the UI manager, which goes with the main menu scene, the player controller, which is for the paddle, the button manager, which on the tutorial that I followed, they basically just created the script to load the scene, the new game level right there. And the UI manager was for, let's see, what was this for? Oh, this was to increase the score count on the score. So the UI manager was for the level one scene, the main scene. The brick script, the script is, this is the script that's applied to every single block, and whenever it is hit with a collision, so anytime there's a 2D collision, it'll basically increment the score on the UI, so the score 1, and it'll destroy the game object with a short delay to allow for the force to be incorporated on the ball so that it doesn't go straight through, kind of like the UFO game we did on the first demo, where the UFO basically just hovers over the rocks, and if it touches, it destroys it and just keeps going. So this one, the ball will hit the brick, it'll apply the physics forces to come back, and then the brick will get get destroyed or whatever. So I kind of liked that aspect as far as incorporating into my game. The tutorial that I did follow had it going straight through the bricks, and so they'd get destroyed just going straight through them. There'd be no force back. So in this, I found in a completely separate tutorial, so fourth tutorial, that actually incorporated the pushback, and I saw that and I liked it, so I incorporated this into my game, and I liked it a lot better. The ball script is basically rich body, the ball force, which is applied to both the x and the y-axis right here on the vector 2, and basically this command right here allows for the ball to not have the force applied until I hit the space key, and it also, so the ball won't go until I hit the space key and the game started equals false. Before, when I didn't have this line right here, I could, while the ball was getting knocked about and hitting things or whatever, I could reapply the force with spacebar, so it would completely just be going, I could make it go in different directions while it was in traveling or whatever. So this allows it so that the force is only applied once at the beginning of the game, and then this command right here is the command I use to get rid of the parent. So currently I have it as a parent of the player. Oh, hold on. So I have it as a parent of the player so that it'll follow, so that it follows itself. So the ball follows the paddle, so that it doesn't. So I can position it where I want when I want to add the add force. And so when I hit the space bar, and if the game started equals false, then I'll be able to apply it one time, and the ball will go. And so even if I hit spacebar like I am right now, I'm currently hitting spacebar, it won't apply any force at all. So that's what that's for. And then at the end, it changes the game started equal to true, so that this command won't get run again, and so I can't apply the add force multiple times. So those are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So those are the 5 scripts. Only four of these are on the level 1. This button manager is for the main menu. And so right now, this is currently what I have. So I basically have the brick set up for level 1, the scorekeeper, and the ball to paddle. This is the boundary, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 areas set to the boundary right now. The canvas image, which is the score, and then UI manager, which just holds the text. Let's see what else. I did have, this background is blacked out right now because I did have it as the background, but that's because I was trying to add the background on my own at the beginning of the tutorial. I didn't know that was going to be added at the end. And the problem I was running into was I was putting the background in, and I was just dragging it in, but what was happening is that the background was being put, I guess it was layered on top of the bricks and the paddle and the ball, so it was literally just covering everything, and it was causing me issues. So rather than deal with that, I spent a little bit of time on it, and rather than deal with that, I just hit it. And so, I mean, right now I could probably just delete this, and since I'm planning on not using it. So let's see what else. So we have the 2 scenes. So we have the start menu. Oh, yeah, save, I guess. Okay, so we have the 2 start menu scenes. So this is the start menu scene right here. So if we hit play, we have the background, we have the play button, and if we hit play, then we go to level 1. And when we have level 1, we can position the paddle wherever we want, and we'll send the ball flying. So it hits the brick, score goes up to 1, and so on and so forth. There you go. So score 3. 3 bricks gone, 3 score, 4, 5, 6, 8. So we have that as the score right now. Uh-oh. And it looks like the ball got stuck. So, I mean, small issue, I suppose. We can... it's the first time that's happened, so... Well, it's something that to be worked on, obviously. So, we'll do it again. Score 1, but I mean, every time a brick gets destroyed, score counter goes up by the amount destroyed. This center brick right here, I wasn't sure if, based on the tutorial or the prefab, if it was supposed to be a destroyable brick, or if it was supposed to be one that's supposed to be like a solid one. You know how sometimes there's obstacles, so I kept this center large brick as an indestructible brick, basically just as a collider. and I left it there. I don't know if I'm going to leave it like that, but for now I am okay with leaving it like that so that it just collides, so that there's always something there to collide with. And so, oh, and now we have stuck here. I'm wondering if maybe it's because the boundaries are too far out, maybe. But it's something I'll work on for sure. But so far, this is what I have, and it's basically the demo that I have for now. So I hit play again. Button works, paddle works, the ball has force, and it travels, destroys the bricks. And I did have a problem with one of these scripts. I think it was the one on the bricks. I think it was brick script. Yeah, it was brick script. I think I spent like maybe 2 hours on this line alone. And I actually, this is why I have the other Unity. Actually, I already closed it, but that's why I had the other Unity Pro, because I actually started completely fresh with those assets and prefabs, and I basically started his tutorial to try and figure out what was going on. Well, after 2 hours, the problem ended up being that I had a lowercase o on the on collision enter 2D rather than a capital O on the on collision enter 2D, and it was basically causing the ball to collide with the bricks, but only bounce back and not destroy them at all. So that was the result of that. So that was a really huge pain. But once I figured that out, I mean, everything worked out fine and it was good. But this is what I have so far, and thank you.